It's clear that it is love and kindness, in the sight of blindness that it is God's love and the failing brightness that's given us hope and no escape from the crisis. Apocalypse.
Shadow of despair, a cluster of crumbling thatched huts at the edge of that crater of whispers. Once a community of 30 families, now only 12 remained, hollow-eyed, gaunt, their spirits as crushed as their homes. The scorch line marked the boundary of Ananakra territory, a belt of blackened earth where ash fell like snow, coating everything in a fine, choking powder. The air reeked of sulfur and decay. The sun, a dim red coin behind perpetual clouds, cast the village in a sickly, blood-tinged light. At the village center stood a crude wooden cross, the last remnant of the village's chapel, now burned to cinders by demon forces. Darian, a man of average height, with calloused hands and a weathered face, sat on a stone bench near the well, his simple brown pants and white shirt dusty from travel. A small pack and a gnarled walking stick rested beside him. His golden eyes, flecked with an inner light, surveyed the desolation with a mixture of sadness and resolve. "Another day in the shadow of darkness," he murmured to himself, voice barely audible above the whisper of falling ash. "Just need to find somewhere to sleep that isn't crawling with shadow beasts." The villagers watched him warily from their huts. Few travelers came to Asheville these days, fewer still left. The demon army had made sure of that. A thin woman with salt and pepper hair approached cautiously, a small boy clutching her tattered skirt. "Stranger," she said, her voice cracking from disuse, "if you're passing through, best move on before nightfall. The shadow hunters come when the light fades." Darian nodded, his expression softening. "Thank you for the warning, good woman. I don't plan to stay long. Just need to rest and perhaps trade for some food if you have any to spare." The woman's eyes darted nervously to the crater's edge. "We have little enough for ourselves. The tax collectors came yesterday, took our last goat, said it was for the greater glory of the Veiled One." "The Veiled One?" Darian asked. The old man who had approached earlier spat on the ground, the spittle hissing slightly as it hit the ashy soil. "The overlord of the Ananakra. May the true God strike him down." A bitter laugh escaped Darian. "The true God seems to have abandoned this place, friend." The old man's eyes flashed. "Do not speak so. The Lord may test us, but he does not abandon his faithful." "Faithful?" Darian's voice took on an edge. "I once believed as you do, until I saw what the demon army did to my family." His golden eyes darkened. "I stopped believing in a God who watches his children suffer without intervention." The old man shook his head. "Then you stopped looking for him in the right places, stranger." The conversation was cut short by a low, hissing sound that seemed to emanate from the very shadows themselves. The villagers froze, eyes wide with terror. "They're early," the old man whispered. "They're not waiting for nightfall." The air temperature dropped suddenly, as if the sun had been snuffed out. The ash that fell from the sky thickened, swirling in unnatural patterns. From the edge of the crater emerged a shimmering darkness, their asterisk shadow veil cloaks, rendering them nearly invisible except for the occasional glint of an asterisk eclipse dagger or the hollow void where their eyes should be. 7 of them materialized fully, forming a half-circle at the village entrance. They moved with unnatural grace, each step silent, their bodies rippling like heat mirages. A larger stalker stepped forward, their leader, marked by a jagged scar across its shadowy flank. It raised one clawed hand, and its eclipse dagger materialized from the shadows, a blade that seemed to drink in the light around it. "Children," the lead stalker hissed, its voice like glass breaking. "The Veiled One requires tribute. 5 of your young, or we take 10 and burn the rest." The villagers huddled together, the children clinging to their parents. The woman with the small boy pushed him behind her, her face a mask of terror and defiance. Darian stood slowly, his walking stick in hand. "The children stay with their families. You've taken enough from these people." The stalkers turned as one, their void eyes fixing on him. The leader tilted what might have been a head, a gesture almost like curiosity. "A bold mortal," it hissed. "Do you know who we are, little man? We are the children of shadow. We are the darkness between stars, the silence between heartbeats. And I am just a traveler, Darian replied, his voice steady. And I said the children stay. The lead stalker made a sound like rustling leaves, a laugh. You speak as if you have authority here, as if your mortal words carry weight against the will of the Veiled One, as if your God has any power in this place. The other stalkers joined in, their hissing voices overlapping in mockery. Where's your God now, mortal? Does he watch from above while we take what we want? Has he saved these pitiful humans from our shadow? Does he answer their prayers for mercy? Does he care for his precious creations? The stalkers spread out, encircling the villagers. The leader approached Darian, a clipped dagger pointed at his chest. Your God is silent. Your God is absent. Your God is weak. Something shifted in Darian's eyes, something ancient and golden stirring to life. You mock what you do not understand, he said, his voice dropping an octave, resonating with a strange harmonics. You mock the divine spark that even in this darkness still burns in the hearts of these people. The lead stalker lunged, a clipped dagger aimed at Darian's heart. Then let us extinguish that spark. What happened next would later be told around campfires throughout the realm. Well, Darian said, looking at his hand with surprise. Golden light, faint but undeniable, emanated from his palm. The stalker collapsed. He looked up at the remaining stalkers, a new fire in his eyes. The stalkers responded by attacking en masse. He stepped into the largest concentration of stalkers, his hands moving in patterns too fast to follow. Their fur ignited into black flames. Their bones turned to ash midair. His shirt was torn, his breathing slightly elevated, but he was otherwise unharmed. His golden eyes glowed more brightly than before, and the golden light emanating from his skin was unmistakable now. The other villagers, who had been hiding, began to emerge. The first reward. The old man approached, wonder in his eyes. You did it, you destroyed them. Darian looked at his hands, turning them over, flexing his fingers. The golden light pulsed with each movement, like a heartbeat. I don't understand, he said to no one in particular. I was just trying to push that creature away, and it was like touching a shadow that's too solid. It just came apart. He looked up. What is happening to me? The old man pointed a gnarled finger at Darian's chest, where the cut had been. The divine spark that you thought was extinguished. It has only been dormant, waiting, and now it awakens. The woman approached cautiously, the child still clinging to her. You saved us. Darian paused, then nodded. He flexed his hand again, watching with fascination as the golden glow intensified. As the villagers prepared a simple meal of roasted roots and wild herbs, the old man approached Darian, carrying a cloth-wrapped bundle. The creatures you killed, they left something behind, he said, unwrapping the bundle. Inside lay 4 items.